Hey guys, welcome to another review. Today we're going to be taking a look at two of these guys here. These are both 1/18 scale, so G.I. Joe scale, Android figures. Or well, I call them servitors because that's kind of what I got inspired by, the Warhammer servitors, which is I think the idea is they are it's like imagine prisoners that were then repurposed into uh, cyborg, more or less, servants. And I thought that was like a crazy cool idea, so I made a bunch of these guys, probably like, I think 15 or so. So since I have so many, I figured I'd do two reviews at a time, kind of get them out of the way, and give you guys a good look at them. Some of them have some backstory, others are kind of missing some. Uh, Everything has a purpose, more or less, that I put on them. I'll try and explain as I go along, but first off, we're going to take a look at that guy over there, and then we're going to take a look at him. This guy here, he's actually the first one that I made of the group. I call him Rocky, R-O-K-E. However, the other guy here, I don't have a name for him yet. I was thinking maybe something like something referring to him as like a homunculus or something like that, some sort of a kind of a weird name to go along with him. Think like in the realm of Igor, something like that. Actually, I wanted to see if you guys could help me name him, like make some suggestions in the comments. I figured that'd be kind of cool and give him some maybe some backstory to the name as well. Even if you want to, come up with maybe what this guy was before he became this massive beast creature. So we're going to take a look at him first, because I think it'll be pretty quick. Let's get a look at this face sculpt. So I wanted him to kind of look sad. Obviously, he's been through the ringer. If he looks like this now, there's not a whole lot of him left. We've got that hollowed out eye over there, tubing coming out of this one. And then the idea of this guy, more or less, is that he is a sort of like a mining servant. That's why I gave him all these like rudimentary tools. Like on this side here, we can see a big old hammer, kind of like a blade there, which I could imagine is just a break through rock. Kind of cool. And he's got like these big, massive, chunky arms on both sides. A little pick on the other end here. And all this hydraulic stuff going on here. These are mostly just parts from Fortnite figures, some Joe on here as well. And then just other scrap that I had around the house. I think this one's actually from Chapmay. This is like an underwater piece. But it all kind of came together pretty well on this guy. Even his neck here, you'll notice. So he doesn't even have a full torso. It kind of breaks off here, and then I used wire armature to then make this head pop out there. And the reason I did that, I kind of wanted to have a very non-human look to him, because a lot of the servitor figures that I've made have looked more like this guy, where it's like, you know, it's like a human body with just some robot attachments. I want this guy to look more like robot attachments with some human body. And I think I pulled that off pretty well. Articulation on this guy is actually still pretty good. So he's got ball joint, and I guess you would call this the shoulder. So you can do a full spin, get some in and out action. You can pull off some pretty good action poses. Well, we'll see. But at the elbow, I guess you could call this, you can do full spin as well as articulate in and out. You can get a pretty good bend on there. And then, depending on how you want to display it, it could look more like that, or it could more like that. I kind of like this way a little bit more, I think. And then at what would be the wrist, we do have a bit of a spin. I can't say it goes, yeah, no, it goes full 360 there. And that does have up and down motion as well. And that's the same articulation as on this arm, except for when it goes up to the wrist, then this piece is solidly on here. So no articulation right there. So not bad on the arms. The head has no articulation because of this armature that's holding them together, which I figure doesn't matter so much. He has this like big beacon thing up here going on. There's so much up here that the head really doesn't need to move. It would just be too much work to get that to also go on there. So, plus, since he doesn't have any eyes, I feel like he kind of has maybe a sonar or sort of like bat vision, where he doesn't necessarily see things, he just knows his surroundings pretty well. And then down here I actually used, I think this is a Cobra Commander from Rise of Cobra bottom half. It does look a little clean. I wish I had it more baggy looking, but I definitely wanted to stick with a black theme, and this one was all black, so I didn't even have to do any painting down here. And this gray part was already gray. So usually I want to avoid painting a whole lot, because when you do that, the articulation gets very hindered, because when you articulate, you can scrape off paint. So this one worked pretty well for me. He retains all the same articulation down here, which is that ball socket hip, we got double jointed knee, and then articulated ankle. I'm not going to pull him off his stand because there's really no need to do that if it's just standard articulation. But yeah, I really dug this guy. He just has such a almost alien look to him. So let me know what you think about this guy in the comments, and make sure to give him a little name, if you will. And then over here, let's take a look at Rocky. So for this guy, I was going for more of a construction class servitor. So meaning he looks like he's a big, bulky, muscular dude with like some basic appliances attached to him for basic services. So like here, I'd imagine this is like a welding torch attached to his forearm. He's got like these grabbing hands with these big old servos back here. Big old hooked hand here with some more like piping going up towards the back leading to the head. And then for the head, I decided to take, obviously, the Channing Tatum sculpt right there. That's Duke. Really good head, in my opinion, for customizing, because there's just so little detail there. Works out really well. And he kind of almost has like a handsome look from the bottom half of his face, but it's kind of in a haunting way, because you see all this gore up here. I went for this like built upon robotic piece here. So there's multiple pieces that have all been melded together to create this top head. It was the lens is separate from this block piece here, which is separate from the earpiece, if you will, on the side, which is all separate from the wiring on the top, and of course the back piece. And I think it all comes together pretty cohesively in this sort of, it looks like it makes sense, even though technically, you know, what does this do? You know, up to your imagination. Is that where he sees from? Is that where he sees from? Doesn't necessarily matter, as long as that option is there. Stan just fell. So that's the upper part. He also has this droid leg here, which the figure that I used to customize him from, this leg was actually chewed off by a dog. So I just cut it up a little further and added a little droid part, which I think works pretty well. Gives him kind of more of a staggering look too. It's not too robot heavy on the top. If you kind of disperse it down a little further, I feel like that works. So let's get him stand there. It's a little hard to stand him because this bottom part here, the ankle doesn't articulate, whereas obviously on the other side it does. So you do lose a little bit of articulation by doing this, but I don't know, I really dig him. So for articulation, since we're talking about that, he does have big old shoulders that get a little restricted by the wiring. It can move back and forth, it can move up and down. It's a little tight. He's got head rotation. He can look up, not much. He can look down a little bit more. Same on the other side here with the arm, except for it's more restricted at the elbow than this side here. This side can kind of get up to here where it starts hitting the metal piece, so let's show that. And then this side gets just a little wiggle back and forth, and then it can spin. So, and then the wrists don't articulate. He does have waist rotation, ball-socketed hips, and then double-jointed knees. I think this knee is a little harder to articulate both joints. This knee does, so you can get quite a bit of a bend on there. Yeah, and so this figure is honestly, in my opinion, he turned out one of the best. So we'll see as we go further in, but just a really solid figure. And I kind of have a backstory in my head that this guy was some sort of very hardened criminal, but kind of a guy with a heart. And then now he's kind of still a little trapped in there. So every now and then a little semblance of him comes out in his weird, monstrous cyborg form. So I don't know. Leave a comment. Make sure to like, share, subscribe. I would really be interested in knowing what you guys think about these guys, and if you want to see more for sure. I'll see you guys in the next video then. Bye.